This is Charles Clark. He's running for District 35. He's on our 4 o'clock time slot. But since we had no one show up for the 3 o'clock, we're happy to take him now.
Cool.
All right. Well, Charles, again, appreciate you coming down and taking time out of your campaign, one of your many campaign days, to join us this afternoon.
Thank you for guys having me.
Just so you know a little bit about us, the Asian American Group is more or less an umbrella organization of numerous other Asian groups throughout the greater Las Vegas area. We've been doing interviews for approximately 6 years now, and what we plan on doing in this situation is doing a set of interviews yesterday and today. We'll have a makeup day on Thursday. We plan on having our primary endorsements out sometime on Friday.
Okay.
We know early voting does start next Saturday. What we're going to do for purposes of not only the primary but also the general is we will not only email out everyone on our various email lists with respect to essentially a slate card listing all the races and individuals who we are endorsing, but we also get ad space donated to us in various Asian newspapers, periodicals, and we have those placed around in restaurants and Asian businesses throughout the valley.
Okay.
We know it's an off-cycle year, and it's a primary, and there aren't a whole lot of sexy races to get people to the polls. So we try and do everything we can to motivate people to go out and do their civic duty by voting, not only in the general, but also in the primary.
Okay.
So, with that having been said, you know a little bit about us, so we'd like to know a little bit about you. Give us a little bit of your background, and if you could also tell us why you decided to run for this particular race at this particular time.
Okay. First of all, I've been a Las Vegas, Nevada resident since 2003. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. My previous background was law enforcement. It's 18 years of that. And I then transferred out here to Nevada, where I was working with BIA, which is the Bureau of Indian Affairs of Law Enforcement. I worked with them for a few years and then locally transferred to the Las Vegas Constable's office, where I worked under the constable there. Soon after his selection was over, I then got into teaching, which I'm currently doing right now, teaching in the Clark County School District. Most of my experience in political is all new. This is my first year doing this. The reason I got into this is because my passion is for the kids. Looking at the statistics over the last few years, with the economy falling, we're second to last in the nation as far as education, and nothing has currently been done about it. And I want to do my job to bring us out of that educational slump right now, and have our leaders of tomorrow be able to work in the workforce, if not achieve and excel in other cases. Because the average student coming out right now has no clue on what they're going to do after high school. So I want them to have an idea by the time they start their freshman year, and concluded on the idea by the time they graduate, or if not their junior year. So that's why I'm here today.
You had mentioned education, and obviously it's important to many of the people on this dais. From a short-term perspective, assuming you're elected to the legislature, what plans do you have to try and increase our rank from 47th, 48th, 49th, whatever horrible number it may be, but again, more short-term rather than long-term systemic changes?
Short-term things we can do is put together some youth programs. As you probably may know or may not know, we have very little, if none, youth programs. When I was growing up, we had programs such as the YMCA donating extra classes, tutoring during the summer to help with those kids who might have been struggling during the school year. After-school programs, summer programs for those parents who are working those long hours and are single, who doesn't have proper child care. Something to give a child direction as well as discipline. So when they enter the school term coming this fall, they already be slated and ready to go. A lot of our children are in school right now have very limited direction and discipline, and it kind of shows in the classroom where they're very easily distracted. So I want to put together programs that's going to help them. Right now, I'm currently a mentor and sponsor of the All-American Youth Football League, which we put on combines twice a year for the kids, and we also go around and work with the additional associated youth programs. Our program is mainly based to help the younger youth football players get ready for middle school, and the middle school guys get ready for high school, and those kids who are going to college, get them ready and tune in to go play college football.
In doing a little bit of research on you, we tracked down your website, and it did say you had some experience as a pro football player.
Yes.
When you were younger, when we were all younger.
Yes.
What kind of lessons did you learn working in that sort of a team-related environment, and how would you apply those, assuming you have to go up to Carson City, which obviously requires a great deal of teamwork?
Basically, and I'm glad you asked that question because I implement this in my class as we speak. I talk to every one of my students, and I say, we are considered a band of a hand, meaning we work together from the thumb all the way to the pinky. If the pinky is weak, the rest of the fingers pick them up, they take their caseload, they teach each other how to coordinate together and move as one, not as a single person, because as a single person, we divide and conquer. As one, we're strong, we're unit. And basically, working in sports, there's no I in team. Everybody works together. Everybody has an assignment. So those are things I'm installing in my classrooms right now. With the last few days of school left anyways, but I did that all year round. Particularly on one of my classes where we had to study for a final. I broke the classes down in teams, and I gave them each team leaders, and I said, delegate amongst yourself, and have your team leader communicate directly to me, and that way we can get things done together sufficiently and on an even scale. So pretty much a unified system.
We've heard a lot of, dovetailing with your teamwork issue, there's a lot of partisan politics between the Republicans and Democrats here in Nevada and everywhere else. And in Nevada, a lot of tension between the North versus South divide. Assuming you go up to Carson, how are you going to combat all the different pressures pulling you in multiple different directions all at once when it's really your constituents who you need to answer to, not the other individuals?
Basically, the Carson City delegates have to know that we have to work on the base plan. Without that base plan, we won't be able to succeed. And that's the thing we're planning to lay out. Here's our base. This is what we need to stick to for everybody to succeed in every direction that they're trying to successfully get done. My constituents here, we need our school system better. We need victims' rights, due process taken care of. Those things that I know for a fact here in Las Vegas, Clark County, is a pressing issue with the crime rate, homicide going up, and it's not even summertime yet. With the children, don't have anything to do for the summer. These are important issues right now. Teen individuals who may not have a summer job. Put together some kind of job co-op program, but have a base that we can all pull from. That's where I'm going to start.
I see here that our notes reflect you did some work, or are currently sitting on the Las Vegas Homicide Review Committee.
Yes.
Give us some insight into that body and how it works and what your role is in that capacity.
The Las Vegas Homicide Review Commission works as a intelligence crime mapping committee where we take closed cases, or homicide-related cases, or violent crime cases of an individual who may be a victim or a subject in the case. We analyze it and come up with methods to prevent future cases like that happening. Along with coming up with these methods, we also work and correlate with the community advocates for treatment programs, such as we may have a young lady who got caught into prostitution and may have been murdered or something like that. Well, we'll come up with situations where we can go out and have someone counsel those individuals who are on the streets or in that situation and try to pull them away from that environment, and then give them further continuing treatment to keep them from going back into that environment. That's the main thing we work with. The Las Vegas Homicide Review Commission is composed of both law enforcement and the community. Together, law enforcement and community working together to achieve the goal that we're looking for.
And I'm sorry, I've been bogarting all the questions. I know you guys have some areas where you're interested as well. Please.
I'm more in, my name is Kevin, and I'm an advocate of child ethical moral education. How would you answer this question to a third grader? That why should they study? Why should they, go about doing what they do every day? They gotta study hard, do the right thing. Versus that when they tell you they can just follow their parents' footsteps and just work in the casino without any kind of education and they can make good money. What would you say to that?
I would say to that young child that if you look at our economy previously, how everyone was so employed in the casino and our economy dropped, the casino laid off 35 to 5,000 employees. Of those employees, maybe 10% of them had college or some college education. Another maybe 30% of them probably didn't finish and they had to go get a GED. Now that these individuals didn't have higher learning, they were struggling trying to get a job in other places. Their skill level wasn't average or applicable to entry-level jobs that was coming to them, so they were not able to get those jobs. Therefore, they wound up in the unemployment line. This is the reason you need to go to school and get your education. Now, while you're getting your education, you need to study. Why? Because practice, perfect what you're studying. If you look at something, you may have that 1 percentile skill to be able to duplicate what you're looking at. But on the average, you have to practice it. You have to become familiar with it. You have to become what you call motor memory reflex. The more you do it, the more you apply it to what you're doing without even thinking about it. And that's how we explain it.
If you were to be elected as our assemblyman, will you advocate, or do you see any importance of it that to teach the young, which means is kindergartner to grade school, start off while they're young, give them some sort of moral, ethical education in the school system versus just blame the parents while both of them work?
Basically, I would set up some kind of program where it teaches the individuals how to be responsible for their own actions. Teaches them that there are borders when maturing. The parents in the past say, I don't know how to give my child boundaries. I want them to explore. Well, boundaries help you assess what you're learning. If you don't have no boundaries, how do you assess what you're learning? Therefore, you make more mistakes than you do trying not to make mistakes. So basically, have a program set up that teaches them how to apply their skills and be responsible for their actions at every step that they make.
So you would advocate that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Well, Charles, we appreciate you coming down here.